Every spring, baby birds are being born, and sometimes they fall out of their nest. Now, if a baby bird falls out of its nest, you should try to find its mother's nest to put it back, and the mother will take it back. But if you can't find the mother's nest, and you live in Portland, Oregon, you can take that baby bird to the Portland Audubon Rehab Center. And that's where I went one spring, because I wanted to learn how to speak a bird's language. And when I arrived there, they handed me this tray full of soggy dog food and these long tweezers. And then I was supposed to take a little crumb of that soggy dog food and feed it to baby birds. And I would open up a cage to the baby birds. There might be 8 or 10 of them in there, and they were all like this. And you would take a little teeny crumb of dog food and stuff it down in their mouth. And you'd be stuffing those little crumbs down into those little mouths. And then they would get a little bulge on the side of their mouth, and you knew they were fed when they would just sit there like this. Then you'd open up the next cage and oh, and it was hard work getting those little crumbs down into those little mouths. So when I came to the cage of the crows, I thought I was in heaven. Because even though they were babies, those crows, they had big mouths. So you wouldn't just put a little crumb in their throat, you would take 4 chunks of dog food and drop it down their throat, and they would swallow down that dog food, and then they were ready for more. And they were so ugly looking at first, you know. Their feathers were coming out of them. They looked like they were some sort of porcupine with little quills sticking out of them. But every week I came back and opened up their cage. Why, they became beautiful. Those feathers grew and grew until they had an iridescent, gorgeous black, like they were Spanish dawns or something. That's how I learned to speak crow. And one day I was sitting on the front porch of my house in Portland, waiting for my housemate to go down with me into town, when a crow lit on the telephone pole. And I said, "Hey there, crow." And he looked at me, he said, "Ah! Ah!" So I knew just what to say to him. I said back to him, "Ah! Ah!" And he seemed to be all kind of flustered, like I understood his language. And he said to me, "Ah! Ah!" So I knew what to say. I said, "Ah! Ah!" Now he was all excited. "Ah! Ah! Ah!" I said, "Ah! Ah! Ah!" Right back to him, and just then my roommate came downstairs, and I said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Crow, I have to go into town." And he looked at me, he said, "Oh." And that, my friends, is a true story, word for word.